Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. With so much that's going on in the country, and of course, so many things for us to help you analyze on all of the front page of the papers that we have today. So, we want you to sit back, relax, and just, pay attention as we go through all these stories for you so you can better understand what we are talking about this morning. You can always get to be a part of the conversation if you call us up on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. Also, we are on all your social media handles. That is, we are on X, FKA Twitter. We on Instagram and TikTok at Impact 1021 FM. On Facebook at Impact Radio 102.1 FM. On YouTube, yes, we are live right here. So go follow us on Impact 102.1 FM. Click on the subscription button, click on the notification button so you can get to know whenever we are live right here in the studio. My name is Uche Okori and you are welcome to the show. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we will be looking at the papers that we have with us in full. Don't go nowhere. It is your Urban Lifestyle Station, Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production,
giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back. In case you are just joining us, well, the show is just getting started. We haven't gone into any of the papers yet. So we will be starting with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. But remember, you can get to call us up in the studio if you want to. And the only way for you to do that is if you reach us on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time, 0704 425 2109. That is our studio line. But in case you want to reach us via WhatsApp or the text message route, it is on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. Going straight to the papers, the Daily Trust is the first paper of the day, and the Daily Trust has this one. This one has to do with, you guessed right, 2027. What does the Daily Trust say? It says 2027 ADC as new bride. 2027 ADC as new bride. That one has stories right there on the front page, and it's talking about the African Democratic Congress, which is the ADC. It's talking about how they appear to have emerged as the new political bride in Nigeria's opposition landscape, following its adoption by a coalition of opposition leaders as the platform to challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 presidential election. And so Is ADC going to be the new platform, the new vehicle at which a coalition is being formed? Well, time will always be there to tell us what that one is. For now, all we have to do is look and wait to see what happens, because the permutation just started. In case you're thinking anything is inked right now, believe me, nothing is inked right now. It is politics. Nothing is inked. You're going to hear rumors, you're going to hear different things, but nothing is certain right now as long as it comes to what will happen in 2027. Our best bet, probably next year, we can start seeing real legitimacy in terms of if indeed there will be a coalition. Other stories which you have right here on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, we get to see an image right here. It says natives of the Federal Capital Territory FCT protesting at the National Assembly gate, Abuja, yesterday over alleged lopsided appointment at the board of the North Central Development Commission, NCDC. So this protest is going on. We heard one of the protesters also got injured yesterday and is currently receiving treatment at the National Hospital. This one is according to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. We can see image of the alleged protester who was injured with his head wrapped and blood on the bandage. First aid obviously was there to take him to the National Hospital where he is currently receiving treatment. So in case you want to find out more about that one, you need to go look at the Daily Trust for you to get all of those details. Other stories which you find right here on the Daily Trust newspaper. This one says politicians, soldiers among Boko Haram informants. This is according to Zulum. Well, this is a huge accusation. This is a really, really huge accusation. That story you find on page 6. Well, according to Governor Zulum, he alleges that politicians, as well as, security agents, are among those informants who give information to Boko Haram. And it's huge allegations. But it also sheds more light into the fact that what many Nigerians say when they talk about it is not the poor who has the ability to do these kind of things, because you need to connect. A poor man cannot lead a terrorism unit. A poor man can't have that connect to actually import guns. A poor man can have that connect to actually mobilize people to do most of these things. It only takes people who have the connect. It takes people who have the resources. Terrorism is not a cheap feat. It's not easy to run. We're talking about getting foot soldiers who will answer at your beck and call to go do evil. It means they must earn a living somehow. It means they're being paid somehow, because no one does it for free at the end of the day. It also means importation of weapons, at which Zulum also claims that the Nigerian army does not have the sophisticated weapons that they can use in tackling these insurgents. He said all of this on a New Central TV program yesterday. And you have to ask yourself the same pertinent question most Nigerians ask themselves, most security agents ask themselves. Ask the security agents per se, maybe as advisors or people who are stakeholders in the security industry have said, how come we're not going for the heads of the snake? Cut off the head of the snake, and just maybe all this will come to an end. And maybe not even maybe. Probably the moment the head of the snake is cut off, everything gets ended, because once there is no big wig to supply the weapons, once there is no big wig to protect them from maybe security agencies, when there is no big wig to give them that assurance that everything is all right, probably we'll get ourselves a safe and secure Nigeria. Other stories right here on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. This one says Wike raises alarm over FCT security health sector. You find that story on page 29 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The FCT minister talking about that one now. Reps to raise panel over abandoned Barrow port. That story you see on page 23 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And more people will say it's not all about raising panels, it's all about getting things done. If I'm giving 1,000 naira for every panel that has been raised to tackle a particular issue in Nigeria that didn't get tackled, I probably will be a billionaire by now. Spelling competition exposes poor standard in FCT schools. Spelling competition exposes poor standard in FCT schools. That story you find on page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And just underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust this morning, this one is what you will see on page 17. Dangote to FG, focus on local investors. Dangote to FG, focus on local investors. And this is similar to what most economic experts have said before now. Make the Nigerian environment more business friendly for the locals and help them develop the economy locally, and you will definitely see the return of foreign investment into the country. It will be hard when even those ones who are home can't invest as they would like to because of how unfriendly the nature of the environment is in terms of business. We're talking about interest rates being at a double-digit interest rate. How many manufacturers can, or how many entrepreneurs can afford a double-digit interest rate? We're talking about taxes that are so much that people who are just starting might not be able to cope. This is the time where local investors get tax waivers. This is the time where there is a more business-friendly environment where the local investors can actually invest in and help build the economy. Right now in Nigeria, the economy is still going the way it's going because of SMEs, small, medium-scale enterprises. So imagine if a more business environment is created, then more Nigerians will want to invest. Look at power at the moment, how expensive power is. We heard the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria complaining about a couple of weeks ago, saying alternative power and power itself is taking over 41% increase in their expenditure. And then you wonder, how then are they going to have their returns? How then are going to make the gains? They definitely will make those gains, but they will make it on the heads of every Nigerian. That is, if those Nigerians, every Nigerian, have the capability to be able to afford some of these things anymore. How many industries have closed down? We need to make home more friendly. We need to make the Nigerian investors more interested in investing in Nigeria before the outsiders can say, oh, I think there's something good going on here and I need to go invest in here. Other stories right here on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. This one says, manufacturers LCCI demand interest rate reduction. Basically what I just spoke about. A double digit interest rate. It will be impossible to have an economy that grows on a double digit interest rate. This is something that has been said years and years ago, and at a time where it was even being complained about by most financial institutions, financial institutions that help in development, financial institutions that give loan. Over a couple of years ago, when it was even still at 13-14%, the complaint was high, saying that it would be impossible for any economy to survive with a double-digit interest rate, or for any economy to develop in a double-digit interest rate. But now we're having it at close to 20-something%. It will be very, very difficult to have an economy survive at that rate. We need to reduce the interest rate. And once this interest rate gets reduced, it will go a long way in making so many persons want to come manufacture, because they are thinking now, yes, I could go take this loan and I could, sell it at a right price that he or she knows that Nigerians can afford and still make a profit from it. But if that doesn't happen, no one will invest. And if no Nigerians are willing to invest, what is the assurance that people outside Nigeria will want to come take a risk? Anyways, moving on. Shadow government, court orders DSS to serve Utomi, begins hearing June 25. Court orders DSS to serve Utomi, begins hearing in June 2025. That story you find on the front page of the Daily Trust, and you see the details on page 14 of the Daily Trust. That's the Daily Trust for this morning. We move from the Daily Trust straight to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And what does the Vanguard have for us today? The Vanguard leading with a story that has to do with Zulum's alleged information, where he said Boko Haram informants among politicians, soldiers. That one is according to Zulum. You find that story on page 5, and it says, Army lacks necessary equipment to battle tech-savvy terrorists. All the writers you have on that story, it says DHQ keeps mum. Our borders porous. Some insurgents, not Nigerians. This is according to Akpabio. Senate warns insurgency will spread further in north and beyond if unchecked. And this we can't overestimate. We've seen the influx of, new terrorist group in Kwara State. We've seen different influx of terrorist groups, in different parts of Nigeria, and it needs to be checked. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to go about it than checking it. And checking it is not all about just, arresting a few persons, but it's about going for those sponsors, going for those big wigs who are making sure these things continue to exist, going for those big wigs who are investing in these people, because these people shouldn't be tech savvy, just as Zulum has claimed. It only takes big investors that will help them be tech savvy. And so these sponsors needs to be the ones that the Nigerian security agencies need to go for. And until those ones are gone, are taken off the board, I beg to differ, we will continue to see these things happen. If we do not take away these sponsors of these crimes, then it will be difficult to get it to stop completely, because foot soldiers will never end. As long as the economic situation of the country is still like this, there will be people who will be available, people who are vulnerable, that will be available to be used by these people, because they have nothing else to do. They have no other way to earn a living, and the only way being shown to them, and in most cases, with what we have seen, many of them do not even get to go to prison at the end of the day. So many of them dropped their arms and they have been rehabilitated. So if they see it as a way of earning a living, earning a way of life, if we do not get the sponsors off the table, those vulnerable ones will still be available to be used over time. Other stories which we have right here on the Vanguard newspaper, we get to see a picture here at the Taraba Investment Summit. So many dignitaries right here, from Obadeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, who is the Oni of Ife, to Emmanuel Agiekum, the Minister of State in charge of special initiatives. So many. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, We're getting to see the former Vice President, His Eminence Muhammad Sahur Abubakar III. So many dignitaries right here. Kashim Shettima, the Vice President of Nigeria. Tony Olumelu. So many right in front of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. So in case you want to find out what the Taraba investment summit was all about, you need to go look at this one for you to get all of those details. Underneath it, Tinubu's meeting with Pope insult to Christianity. This one is coming from Baba Chelawa. I do not understand how that is an insult to Christianity. We're talking about the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who represents not only Muslims, but Christians, traditional worshippers, and those who do not even have a religion at all in the country. He is the number one citizen of the country, and so he meeting with the Pope, I do not see how that is an insult to Christianity. Who would have met the Pope then? The Senate President? When the President is available, the leader of the nation is available. There were people from Muslim countries that were also there to meet with the Pope. So what does that say? An insult to all of Christianity all over the world? I don't get it. But well, it's politics at the end of the day, but let's move on. It says PDP has incurable virus. We are not considering it for coalition. All the stories you see here, he said, we don't need your validation. PDP replies, Baba Chair. It goes back and forth. Page 9 is where you will see that story in case you want to find out more. Underneath it, slain YX student. Why I flouted traffic laws, bereaved father. That one you find on page 7. LP crisis. NLC Abure trade blames over internal turmoil. You find this story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Beside it, at page 10, compulsory voting. Bill won't save a broken democracy. This is according to senior lawyers. Bill won't save a broken democracy. Beside that one, manufacturers LCCI disagree over CBN's 27.5% MPR. That story you find on page 19. In case you do not know, the CBN maintained its interest rate at 27.5% just 2 days ago, which is what the market manufacturers and the LCCI are in disagreement over. And so that one is what we have for you right here on the Vanguard newspaper. Impact Radio 102.1 FM, the newspaper review is the show you are listening to. And of course, we help you analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us this morning. Let's go on a short break. And when we come back, we will be looking at the other papers that we have with us today. Don't go nowhere. It is your urban lifestyle station, Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
It's a powerful feeling you can't quite put into words. Transformative, overwhelming, awe-inspiring. Can you feel it? That palpable energy? Get ready for a night where the praise goes up and your spirit soars. High Impact Praise Blast is coming.
Take all of my praise and adoration.
A concert experience packed with high energy, powerful worship, passionate praise, and overflowing thanksgiving. We're reloading the praise. Get ready for High Praise Reloaded. Save the date, Friday the 26th of December 2025. Venue, High Impact Planet Road, Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite MFM Prayer City, Ibafo. Time, 7 p.m. For more inquiries, please call 0706 393 5694 or 08104 229 9509. An electrifying night like this is not one that you want to miss. High Impact Praise Blast. Get ready to ignite your fire. Fire.
You are the most like a shaman. Ale alusanu Kimake Kimashadua.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Welcome back. And in case you are just joining us, well, you've missed the very first half of the show, but hey, you're right on time for the remaining papers that we have with us today. And you can also be a part of the conversation. Call us 0704 425 2109, 0704 425 2109, or you can reach us via WhatsApp and the text message route on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. The Guardian newspaper is the next paper which we will be looking at this morning. And what does the Guardian lead with this? It says, Zulum flags complicity in terrorism war amid push for new investment. Zulum flags complicity in terrorism war amid push for new investment. You find this story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. It has to do with Rotababa investment. At the same time, also, Zulum alleging that politicians and soldiers among informants in the terrorist organizations Boko Haram. Beside that one, Rep rallies FG to rescue stranded Nigerians in Saudi Arabia. Reps rally FG to rescue stranded Nigerians in Saudi Arabia. This has to do with a Saudi Arabian new policy, and because of that new policy, apparently some Nigerians are stranded in Saudi Arabia, and reps are pushing to see how the federal government will help in rescuing these stranded Nigerians. Hopefully something is done about that one, because our brothers and sisters shouldn't be stranded in another man's land. Underneath that one, NMDPRA to cut petroleum truck loading capacity to 45,000 liters. NMDPRA to cut petroleum truck loading capacity to 45,000 liters. Underneath that one, Nigeria's GDP per capita too low. Needs growth to boost income meets aspirations. Who is saying this? Well, you need to go look at the business page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. That one is on page 15 for you to find out who's saying this statement, and probably to find out how we can get to boost our GDP per capita rate. Beside it, LASG, that is Lagos State Government, says Ikeja, Lagos Island, Lekki, top states crime locations. Lagos Island, Ikeja, Lekki, top states crimes location. That story you find on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Above that particular one, on page 4, your testament of our global impact. Tinubu hails British Nigerian mayors. Your testament of our global impact. Tinubu hails British Nigerian mayors. That's the way you find on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Beside that one, Gladiator sheath sword, restore calm to Rivers polity. Gladiator's sheath sword, restore calm to Rivers polity. Who are these gladiators? And is there really calm in the Rivers polity? Well, page 4 is where you will get all of those answers. Underneath that one, manufacturers grown over 37% lending rate cite threat to productivity. 37% for interest rates when it comes to lending. Man, that is huge. That is really, really huge. Yeah, I was thinking it was 27%. I never knew it was 37. Page 6 is where you see that story. 2027. Forget defections. Hungry Nigerians hold haze. Makinde tells PDP. Forget defection. Hungry Nigerians hold haze. Makinde tells PDP. That story you find on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Beside that one, Nigerians face heightened insecurity with over 2,000 prisoners at large. Nigerians face heightened insecurity with over 2,000 prisoners at large. That's the we find on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper, and it's alarming, you know. A couple of days ago, we still heard about 8 persons that, you know, escaped from prison detention after the collapse of the structure, the fence structure, after rainfall, the downpour of rain the other day. Which we do not have much information about if they've been gotten. The last information we got was the fact that a 5 million naira ransom was placed, you know, for credible information that will lead to their capture. And it's sad. It's a really, really sad one. And it goes to show how porous our society is. It goes to show how we need data. We need technology to handle situations. Just a few days ago, just probably a day or 2 days before the incident in Nigeria, we saw a similar incident in the US, but this time it was actually a breakout. And in under 48 hours, about 4 or 5 of them were already apprehended. And that was because of data. That was because of the fact that there was enough data to understand that, okay, we can see you and identify you. Their information, their images were everywhere. It wasn't easy for them to move about, especially people without resources. It wasn't easy for them to move about. I'm not even sure I know the face of any of the ones that, the 8 that escaped. How many media houses, how many TV stations, how much of social media have not really seen their face all over social media? So how then will people help to give information so as to apprehend them? So much needs to be done to better security in the country. And now we're hearing on the Guardian newspaper this morning that over 2,000 prisoners at large, over 2,000 at large. Some of them might have been at large for years. They must have even forgotten they were once prisoners because they're now living a normal life. Because probably the authority cannot even identify them. They're going about their daily lives as they want to. Their names don't pop up on, maybe if they put their names on a system, their name don't pop up as criminals because it's probably not in a data somewhere that is technological backed. Technology needs to be used if we want to tackle some of these issues. Most of the issues we face with technology, it will be easier to face all of these things. But we are where we are at the moment, and it's really, really a sad one. Final story which we have right here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. It says, why I didn't yield to calls for resignation by JAMB registrar. Why I didn't yield to calls for resignation. This is by JAMB registrar. That story you find on page 3 in case you're one of those ones who says he should, resign due to what happened in the recent JAMB, or in case you're one of those ones who think, why should he resign? Well, you need to go look at page 3 to get all of those details as why he's saying he didn't resign. And so for those ones who want to find out those reasons, well, the Guardian newspaper on page 3 is where you will have all of those details. That's the Guardian for this morning. 0704 425 2109. 0704 425 2109. That's the number for you to call. 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. That's the number for you to reach us on WhatsApp or the regular text message, so as you can participate in the show. Share us your thoughts. Tell us what you think. How do you think Nigeria can get better? Whatever thoughts you have concerning, the stories you've seen or heard on the front page of the papers this morning, we would like to know about it. The Punch newspaper, and the Punch has this one. It is the Zulum story, obviously the biggest story of the day. And it says Senate Zulum demands swift action from Tinubu. This one has a lead line that says terror threats. Senate Zulum demand swift action from Tinubu. That story you find on page 2. Underneath it, couple of riders, 3 riders to be exact. Boko Haram better equipped than military. This is according to the Borno State governor. Beside it, foreign terrorists infiltrating Nigeria. This is according to the Senate. And finally, on that particular story, president should listen to army, not politicians. That is according to Zulum. Underneath it, you get to see a big image of the Taraba State Investment Summit alongside dignitaries that are packed in that summit. Hopefully that one leads to something that will bring prosperity to Taraba State. Underneath it, Germany warns Nigeria, neighbors against Russia alliance. Germany warns Nigeria, neighbors against Russian alliance. You find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Beside it, Lagos seeks justice for 3,215 abused children in 2024. Lagos seeks justice for 3,215 abused children in 2024. That is huge numbers, and these are just the ones that were even gotten to be known about. You could imagine the numbers of those ones that are still going through this abuse. And huge kudos to the Lagos State government, huge kudos to the agency in charge of making sure when it comes to domestic violence in Lagos State. They've been doing a tremendous job. It's a huge issue in Nigeria, at least in Lagos, that we are in at the moment. A great issue across the Nigerian states, but the Lagos State government has been constantly trying to help reduce that, and this is one of the ways at which they've been trying to do so, and hopefully justice is served in this case. Page 4, page 5 is where you will see that story. Beside it, Nigeria spends $2 billion on external debt in 4 months. Nigeria spends $2 billion on external debt in 4 months. You find that story on page 20 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Page 20 is where you will see that one. Above the nameplate of the Punch newspaper today, JAMB reviews 379,000 UTME receipt results. You find that story on page 14. Well, we heard rumors that over 60-something% of those students hit above the 200 score, but it's not certain yet. Rumor, like I say. Hopefully we're going to see the results soon enough, and we will hear from JAMB the actual figures of those who hit above 200. Beside that one, petrol price war closes nearly 5,000 fuel stations. Petrol price war closes nearly 5,000 fuel stations. I think all what Nigerians are interested in is if the price will keep reducing and reducing and reducing and reducing and reducing, because that way it means it will have a trickle down on effect of the economy. It means things are going to get cheaper, because yes, once fuel is cheaper, things get cheaper. Transport is going to get cheaper. So if the reduction of those price is what is making the stations close down, we don't know. If it's an increase that is making them close down, we have no idea. But what Nigerians are more interested in is the fact that the prices needs to go down. The prices needs to keep reducing so as to help Nigeria get into a better economic situation. And how can these prices reduce? The NNPCL needs, as a matter of urgency, to get at least two of our refineries working optimally in this 2025. If the NNPC can do that and make them a competitor rather than just being a support hand to Dangote, and actually be a competitor against Dangote, then probably we can get cheaper fuel before the end of the year, and maybe we can drive the price down to about 500. I believe it is possible, but the only way it can get to fruition is if the NNPCL at least make sure 2 of our refineries are optimally working by the end of the year. Other stories right here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Salary crisis. FG plans intervention funds for 109 foreign missions. That story you find on page 20 of the Punch newspaper, page 29, I beg your pardon, of the Punch newspaper this morning. And underneath that one, it says here, APC foresees Tinubu's win as Atiku Obi camps meet. 2027, APC foresees Tinubu's win as Atiku Obi camps meet. Obviously, 2027 is always going to be a conversation as long as the Nigerian polity is all about today. So many things going on in the country, and of course, everybody is trying to look out for how all of these things will get resolved at the end of the day. Atiku Obi camp meeting, well, let's see how that one pans out. Well, that's the much we can take for the Punch newspaper this morning, and that's the much for the papers that we have with us this morning as well. And it's important we talk about the fact that insecurity continues to be the huge problem we have as a country at the moment. We have so many other problems, but insecurity seems to be the greatest challenge, as it has its hands into the causes of so many other issues that we face. And it's important that our leaders take cognizance of the fact that if they do not put this to a rest as soon as possible, things will get worse. Because many Nigerians in different parts of the country that are farmers can't go to the farms anymore. And this is a huge reason why there's inflation in terms of food. That is food inflation. Many of our farmers that have the opportunity to even go to their farms need to pay levies just to get the farm produce out of the farms, which means in turn they need to put this amount on the prices of their goods, which means the everyday Nigerian has to pay for this increase. Many Nigerians who are not even farmers can't sleep in their homes. We saw on the paper the other day where a community in Benue have to go sleep elsewhere out of their communities and come back the next day almost every night, just because they are not certain if they sleep at home, it might be the last night they will have to sleep at that place. So it's important to note that if insecurity is non-nibbed, it will be impossible for foreign investors, which the country is in dire need of, it will be impossible for these foreign investors to come in when they know that it's unsafe. For example, if foreign investors want to come into the agricultural sector and they're thinking, oh, I need to go to the food basket of the nation, which is Benue State, can they really invest in Benue State? Okay, want to go to Jos, the land that has so many amazing sites, amazing fruits, amazing food. Can they actually invest in Plateau State in terms of food and feel that, be completely rest assured that they are safe with everything going on in Plateau State? What about Borno State? What about Zamfara? What about Kwara? What about Imo State? What about Enugu State? Ogun State? Osun State? Insecurity is worsening as the day goes by. And everything is on the table of the federal government and the state government to make sure it's completely nipped in the bud. If the security agencies or those in charge of the security agencies cannot seem to do the job perfectly well, it only means one thing: someone else will have to do the job. It's important to note that the result of competence is more work, and the result of incompetence is to be sacked. And how then can we say or know if our security agencies have been competent or incompetent? It is if Nigerians can sleep with their eyes closed completely, without having to sleep with machetes under their pillows, without having to go to bed thinking, maybe this might be my last night on earth. Is until Nigerians can move from the west to the north in night buses without having to have their hearts in their mouth. Is for Nigerians to move from one part of Nigeria to the other without having to tell their family members and say, oh, please keep your phones on in case something bad happens to me and there needs to be a call. Until Nigerians go back to the days where they feel they can go to any part of the country without having to think that they will get kidnapped, without having to think that there will be some sort of insurgency, without having to think that if they go to their farms, they'll have to pay royalties or levies just to get their farm products out, or without having to think they don't even have access to their farms. Only then will Nigerians beat their hands on their chest and say, indeed, the people who are leading the defense of the country are indeed competent at their job. This is how we call it an end to today's edition of the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody who opened their doors to us this morning. Well, we will be back again tomorrow for the Friday edition of the newspaper review. Yes, I always look forward to Fridays. And my name is Uche Okorie. Have yourself a beautiful Thursday.